Hi, friends. Welcome to the Medicine Stories podcast. I'm your host, Amber Magnolia Hill. And in this brief introductory episode, I will try to give you a little taste of what I envision this podcast being. This is something that I have been dreaming of for 11 years since my oldest daughter was a baby. So back in 2006. And I recently found the notebook where I was sketching out my ideas for shows, and clearly I didn't do it then. I also got really serious about doing it 2.5 years ago in spring of 2015 and bought all the equipment, and that's what I'm using now. And, life takes its detours, and I'm so glad to finally be here doing it and talking in your ear right now. So my working tagline for this is Mythic Journey to the Deep Self. Most of you probably know me as an herbalist, and I will be interviewing a lot of herbalists on this podcast, but herbalism isn't really going to be the focus. The focus is going to be how we come to know ourselves, how we come to be ourselves, the mythological unfolding of our lives. So we'll be talking about ancestry, childhood, archetypes, myths, stories, dreams, grief and death and time and loss and synchronicities and psychedelics and other consciousness expanding experiences and things like that. We're going to get right to the heart of things. There's no small talk or dilly-dallying around. This podcast is also not going to be perfect. I just messed up and I'm not going to go edit that or start over. This mama ain't got the time for that. And, life is messy. My life is messy. Your life is messy. And I can't endeavor for perfection. I read this great article. I don't remember where or who wrote it or anything when I was in my early 20s. And the central phrase of the article was create apart from perfection. And I've always tried to do that. If I was waiting for this to be perfect, it would just never happen. I have no idea how to do audio. It's been a shit show trying to figure this out over the last month, just a ton of troubleshooting. Shout out to Natalie of the Dream Freedom Beauty podcast for really, really helping me to dial it in as much as I can at this point. I'll be interviewing people on the podcast. I'll probably also do episodes where I'm just talking into the microphone about things. I want to share my own personal stories as well on this, such as how I became an herbalist, the psilocybin experience I accidentally had at age 16 that changed my life. I knew I was doing mushrooms, it was my first time and just thought it'd be fun and had no idea that that kind of experience was possible with psychedelics or entheogenic substances. And now I do. Now I know a lot more about that and how psychedelics work. And I love to talk about that with people. Love to encourage people to undertake those journeys in a conscious and respectful and safe way. I want to share about the ancestral dream I had that told me that the scrolls are in my bones, a message that set me on a path without which this podcast would not exist. Definitely we'll be talking about the death of my beautiful and beloved mama, who was my best friend and who died in a car accident on November 27th, 2015. It's just still feels so weird to say that, like it can't be true. Wait, that's really my story? That happened? And other stories, other traumas, other peak experiences, insights, learning moments, and just all the ways that I've come more fully into myself in my almost 4 decades on the planet. My intention in sharing those stories and in asking questions from interviewees to extract their stories is to encourage you, the listener, to just keep going within, keep finding yourself. That's what it's all about. It's what all these things that I'm interested in, I realized, are just leading me back to myself. And that is what I endeavor to inspire other people to do as well. So in this first shorter episode, I thought I would talk about names being so basic to our personal mythologies. And I just went through a big name change. My online moniker for, I guess, 3 years now has been Aquarian Dawn. And that is just something I chose at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep for my Instagram name. And then it kind of evolved and I bought the URL and I've been using it for a while, but has not been in resonance with what I feel I'm doing for a while now. I've been thinking about changing it for a while, but it's scary. People are used to it. All your external links get broken. You have to change your name all over the internet. But it was finally time. So now it's Mythic Medicine. I've been selling herbal products under the name Mythic Medicinals for years now. And Mythic Medicine, it just embodies everything that I'm trying to do. So my new website is mythicmedicine.love. If you want to find out more about me, read like almost a decade worth of blog posts, check out the herbal medicine shop, all sorts of other stuff. You can do that at mythicmedicine.love. But I also wanted to talk about the middle name that I use online, Magnolia, Amber Magnolia Hill, because I struggle with it. Like, seems a little floofy. It's like a lot to say. Sometimes I just want to be Amber Hill. But there's a reason that I can't just be Amber Hill online. And I'll get into that. But first, I want to tell you the two reasons that I use Magnolia and that I identify with that name so much. And it's because that name is both embryonic and ancestral for me. It's embryonic in that that's what my dad called me when I was in the womb. And my parents didn't know I was a girl. But like I have these letters that he wrote his parents. And it's like, Magnolia kicked today. We'll be meeting Magnolia in a few short weeks. And when I was little, I remember he called me Magnolia Blossom. And he always said it like that. I don't think he called me that much beyond my very young years, but it's just special to me that he thought of that name when I was still in my mom's womb. And it's an ancestral name because my great-grandmother, his father's mother, who I knew, she died when I was 5. She came from South Carolina out here to California, and she planted 2 magnolia trees in the yard of the house that she built in 1950. It was her favorite tree, her favorite flower, and my grandparents lived in that house when I was growing up, and now my dad lives there. It's called the Hill House. There's a sign out front that says the Hill House. So I love the name. And the practical reason that I use it is because there's already a lot of Amber Hills online. And of course, I want to be Googleable. I want people to find me. And so the biggest Amber Hill online is a champion sport shooter. And she was famous in her teens. I think she's in her 20s now, but she's kind of all over the place if you search Amber Hill. But it's also a winery. I've been gifted many an Amber Hill wine bottle in my time, a pony farm, a village, and a civil parish in Lincolnshire, England. There's an artist named Amber Hill and a real estate agent and a HuffPost writer who calls herself a Jesus follower and a coffee addict. And so these are all on the first 1 or 2 pages of Google. And I'm none of those things except for a coffee addict. I'm an herbalist and a writer and a teacher and a medicine maker. So, I just need a way to be differentiated in this crazy online world. And a mother. I mentioned the 11-year-old. I also have a 1-year-old daughter. They were born 10 years and 3 months apart. So it takes some time and some work and a lot of planning and effort to get out here and record this podcast. But I'm just so excited to do it, and the energy is so behind it. And thank you so much for being here and listening. I've got some exciting guests coming up. I've already recorded with Mila Prince and Sophia Rose, and a ton more are on the books. And thank you to Marie Sue for providing the beautiful music. It's Marie with 2 E's, Sioux. Marie's been a friend for about a decade now, and I first heard the song about a decade ago. It's from the song Wild Eyes. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most special pieces of music to me, and I'm just honored to be able to use it for the show. So thank you, Marie. Thank you, Natalie from Dream Freedom Beauty Podcast. And thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll be back very soon with new episodes. All right. Bye. Wait, see, I told you it was going to be imperfect. My daughters are not 10 years and 3 months apart. They're 10 years and 3 weeks apart. I know it doesn't matter, but that's the truth. So there you have it. Bye.